it down.
I love it, Bernard.
Yes, very good. Well, Bill, generally you frequent this segment and you're quickly getting, chased down by the man sitting next to you, Damo, Duck, because you've been on fire. And
Be careful, he's punchy today.
Yeah, I know, he can't reach me from here. That's why I'm very confident in mentioning that first up. But just been on fire lately, Duck, and I'll mention you in a minute. But just off the top of last week, now, what I need to describe to you is that when we were doing the call at Adelaide Oval here, Port Adelaide versus Adelaide, it was, the last call. Chris Dittmar's a big Port Adelaide fan, so what you need a picture is when the ball actually looked like missing, he was calling it, and then as soon as it was going through, took the cans off and basically walked out. So our listeners didn't know what was going on, so I had to take over. Here it is.
Oh, no.
Now a kick coming up. About 49 metres out, Jordan Dawson. 48 metres. Oh, it's Chris.
It's kicked out! It's kicked out! Oh, look at him. They're coming from everywhere. Look at that. Looks like Buddy Franklin's kicked his Thousands goal again. The fans are about to run on. Talk about a good call.
Where'd you throw yourself into the Nuff specials?
I looked around and no one was doing anything. The people need to know. And I've had a few phone calls since too with a few offers.
I'd take them.
Hey, well, that got me thinking. I thought, well, that's a bit of a theme. So I went through the archives. Bill, you like that? Archives? Yeah. And I found where, the commentators have been taken over by someone they probably shouldn't. Now, I was going to start in 2013 when Andrew Walker comes second. This goal came second in goal of the year, and Barry Denner, the People's Caller, is trying to call it as he sees it. And, our good friend Spud, he wanted it. He wanted it.
The worst.
So Mills kicks scrubby forward, and it's off hands to Walker, and he can go right up the corridor. He's taken two bounces. No one to kick to at the moment. Streaming back in. Here's Chrissy Yarra, and Walker keeps going. 4-5 bounces. Goes to 50.
He's trying to say Baz called it. You called it, Spud.
Couldn't help himself, could he?
No, he couldn't. He just chipped in there. And then I think he was getting around himself at the end saying, you called it. You called it. Hey, Isaac Heaney, 2018 Mark of the Year, Sydney v Melbourne. Wayne Swass, well, he's a great caller too. And he called it beautifully, but Paul Roos, he wanted some time, and his mind was elsewhere about the negative side of what happened.
Pedersen with a big leap. Nice grab, Cam. He can thump a ball a long way. Off a step, chips the ball towards Hogan, sits up. Oh, that's Mark of the Year.
And there it is. That sums up the day. A shocking kick from Pedersen. And Isaac Heaney.
Come on, Roosie.
You got a second takeoff, Roosie.
Absolute cracker. It was like Pedersen was kicking to the mark. Heaney was said, no problem. Thanks, Cam.
Come on, Roosie. It doesn't matter how it gets there, mate. Just let him call it. It was Mark of the Year. It was huge.
Very defensive, Coach Roosie.
Very defensive. They, named Curvis last weekend as well. Kicked a brilliant goal, but Robbo on the boundary. Now, he's got one job down there, Robbo, and that's to watch the play. And if something exciting happens or it goes inside 50, you just stop.
But now Riccardi has gone in. They've looked at vision of that big clash. So
Tigers in attack. Now Curvis out of the air with the right foot. He's kicked the beauty, the big fella.
Shut up, Robbo.
They did that pretty well, but they actually called the goal about 30 seconds after it happened. It was just lucky it was on radio. But another job down there, Robbo, if you're listening. Know the benches.
All right, not far away from this one as the players start to come towards the bench. What are the benches down there, Robbo? Bob Jane teammates?
Haven't got those, mate.
They're walking towards you, Robbo.
They are.
There's 8 of them, Robbo.
There's 8 of them, Robbo. Just name them as they're walking past you, mate. Hey, Bill, last week, now moving on from the theme, Bill, last week, your shirt.
Beautiful.
Now, it was very special to you, apparently, and, you got it from a very special place too, didn't we?
This is Polo, the Ricky Didge.
No, there's a broken stick,
Bali
Bill.
version.
Broken
I bought
stick.
this in UK, in London. What's Harriet's or
2000.
whatever?
Harriet's. Where did that come from?
Well, it's a little department store. There is Harriet's,
Maybe
of course. We all know Harriet's. Everyone knows that. No one knows the offshoot called Harriet's down the road.
Yeah. And that horse had 3 legs as well.
No, it didn't.
That
And
was
I
an
checked
issue.
the legs and I checked the polo
Didn't have the
stick.
polo stick.
Yes, it did. It's got everything.
It was broken in half. Hey, Duck, well, we all know your mind can wander, and I'm very happy I'm actually not in the studio at the moment. But, well, your special comments, you weren't even just doing your game. You're so good that you can just do special comments on another game next door.
Just keeping an eye on that game. A couple of players gone to ground when they should have kept their feet for the Blues.
Duck's doing specials on both games.
Yeah, just keep an eye on this one for us, Duck.
What happened then, Duck?
Well,
He got bored.
Well, that game was over, and that game was a 1-point game in the end. I thought it was the viewers should hear it. The listeners.
What about Joey? Just this game will do, Duck.
The listeners should, not the viewers. The listeners.
But what you were bringing to
I
the
don't
game
doubt,
you were
Bill.
doing, Duck, very good. The Richmond St Kilda game. And, well, you had a great stat on how well the two teams have gone against each other. And listen to Ross whack you for it.
From memory, Two-Man, and Two-Man will join us shortly, but the Saints really like playing Richmond on this ground. And I remember back to 17 where they
Bar last year where they lost by 120.
Thanks, Ross.
Duck, when you say from memory, that means you know exactly what's going on, don't you?
Yeah.
Except for that one. Bill, yeah.
For that one. But hey, it wasn't your fault, Duck. It wasn't your fault because
never is,
if it's not yours, you got to have someone to blame, and well, anyone can be blamed.
This is why you don't let your 7-year-old Joey mix with your notes. Charlotte's drawn all over my notes.
You reckon Charlotte changed it
blame
from
her.
Richmond to St Kilda? She's writing stats on your paper now, Duck.
You're better than that, Duck.
Even he's laughing.
Look at Duck chuckling away.
What did she do to your notes, Duck?
Yeah,
Well,
explain it.
she scribbled on it.
she did.
Got a highlighter out.
Changed. I just couldn't read it properly.
It wasn't your fault. So it's never Jim's fault.
Never
We're in
Jim.
trouble here.
Never.
But it actually never is my fault. Okay, go on, Ben.
Hey, well, Duck, for some reason, you've just stuck your voice. I said
Bernie's
I've got a
getting
few
edgy.
of you. I'm going to get these out of the way before I'm in studio
I'm next to him,
next
Bert.
week again. Hey, well, you've just been singing a bit lately, and here's a little reminder of a couple you've ran with.
Who you're related to.
I turn back time when you work to one living. But we can.
And then you went again on the
burnt.
weekend, just gone.
I'm going to wash that green eye out of me.
Wayne.
Well, the boys are talking about.
No,
you
we
the
know
graves on
that.
the
You don't
side.
have to sing it.
So I'm going to get some of that stuff. You know, remember they used to do that ad?
Head and shoulders.
Yes.
Go
No,
ahead,
that's for dandruff.
Dandruff.
Yes, Bern.
Hey, well, and you went down the Wiggles path, hot potato. Forgot that one.
Well, the Saints, that's a classic case of hot potato, hot potato.
Yeah, and but that was just the lead-in because Jim, something slipped through the cracks. That, and I'm quite glad I'm not in the studio again because
But we are,
Jim,
Bern, and he's getting really edgy.
No, I'm moving on now. But that was just the lead-in to Jim. You didn't tell me about this one. Now, this is a concern, Jim.
Oh.
I eat grass and a moo all day. I'm a cow moo. It's my favourite Wiggles song.
That's a Wiggles song.
Wiggles song.
That's my favourite Wiggles song.
What is going on? You don't have to sing it. You can just tell us what it
I
is.
eat grass and a moo all day. I'm a cow moo. And then the second bit is I eat green grass and a moo all day. I'm a cow moo. But I'm telling you, it's my favourite Wiggles number.
I'm a cow moo.
Sound like you had a mouthful of grass.
That's exactly it.
Anyway, let's get to Nuff of the week.
Nuff of the week.
Now, I was driving in the car last Sunday and a lot of things were coming up on radio, but this one's over in Perth. Now, I just happened to be heading to Bunnings to get an extension cord, and I heard this from Xavier Ellis.
Will they be able to stand up to the pressure and lift and carry the side like we've seen Brayshaw Fife Monday do 1,000 times? I'm not so sore.
Show saw. Play it again,
I'm not so
Hose.
sore.
So
I'm
sore.
not so sore.
I like that.
And by the way, the fact Mundy and those guys he can throw in there. Brayshaw's pretty new, 1,000 times. He's only played about 30 games.
That's it. That's a fair call. Look at him dissecting the
Checking enough.
What about the joke when you're saying about Nath Brown's forehead and Duck come up with that great gag about
the projector?
The kids, he was going to put the projector on Nath's forehead, but once the kids showed,
And he said, I've heard of a forehead, but what about a fifth head?
But Big X, he was a dead heat because Jay-Z, I heard this, I had to pull the car over. It wasn't good. He first attempt, he butchers one word, and the second attempt, well, he butchers both and then just decides to abandon ship. Listen.
Well, I mean, he would be a man in demand. Man in demand.
He's trying to say man in demand. And this is, play it again, Oates.
Well, I mean, he would be a man in demand. Man in demand.
And then he just moved on. He's got Bluey's problem. Oh, you can catch that. Don't worry about that. But that's enough for the week.
I
boys.
like it.
well done.
Very nicely done, Bernard, and I blame Bill.
Has a little bit of Elmer Fudd about him sometimes, Jay-Z, doesn't he?
Yeah. How he looks.
Trying to work out what that means.
No, with the way he speaks.
Rabbits.
Yeah.
I blame Bill.
How do you blame?
Well, because everyone
fat.
who comes to this station to broadcast football can speak until they hear you. And
you
then
look a
it
bit
gets
like
in
Elmer
their
Fudd.
own head, and then suddenly they forget how to speak.
Well, I get confused.
Do you?
I was confused yesterday with old Nobes.
Ross Noble.
Yes.
You need to see the video of Bill trying to work out left and right on his headphones on our Instagram, Triple M Rush Hour.
It's unbelievable.
Funny.
What about Spud, though, before we finish, Damo?
Yeah.
The bigger the game and the more important the moment, the more he would speak over you as a commentator. The Bearded Malcho, when he snapped that goal in 2012 to win the Swans a premiership, Spud was screaming that loud. You couldn't hear anything anyone else
Was he in the famous Tom Boys kick the goal one as well? Was he screaming then as well, I think, in the
Could
background?
easily have been. He just
You'd have a story or a joke, and he'd tell them the punchline.
on the top of it. It'd be the wrong punchline. Come on, Spud. Come on.
But Roosie took the cake there. One of the great marks of all time, and he's right about how the kick came in.
Let it go, Rosie. Go back to it to get around to it.
Trying to kick 7 goals to win a grand final.
Poor kick.
Just sums the game up, you reckon? Mind you, my favourite Roosie story is told by Bernard. In his last game, they got beaten at the Cattery by 120 points. The boys got in, dragging their asses in, and the coach had actually exited. Nowhere to be seen.
Last thing the boys, or it wasn't the boys because we weren't in there yet, I think it was a staff member or maybe a drink steward, said, I've never been beaten by 100 points. And that was the last thing that came out of his mouth. Just went back up the highway to Melbourne.